Welcome to the video, and today I'm going to teach you how to sketch a basic quadratic. Now I'm going to do this by going over the example of sketching y is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 8, and you can use this method to sketch pretty much any quadratic, although the more complex ones will obviously be a lot harder to draw. So the first thing we need to do is factorize the quadratic. Now if you don't know how to factorize, I've left a video down below if you want to check that example out, or if you want you can find another YouTube video where you can see how to factorize. If the equation doesn't factorize naturally, you will have to probably use the quadratic formula, but I imagine especially at GCSE level, it will probably just factorize, but I will leave my video for the quadratic formula down below, and you can just use the quadratic formula if you want as well, although that might be a bit longer to get the answers for the values of x we need. So now we factorize the quadratic formula, we put it in the form x plus 2 times x plus 4 is equal to 0. So we want to satisfy this equation, so we basically want to work out what x values we need for y to be 0, because when y is 0 we're going to be given the x values of when the graph crosses the x-axis. So when one of these brackets equals 0, the whole equation equals 0. So when x is equal to minus 2 or x is equal to minus 4, this equation is going to be satisfied. So we have our points where our graph crosses our x-axes. So now we can just keep these for now and we'll work on the other points we need. Next up we have the turning point. So the graph will be like a big U or a big N if it's minus x squared. And that turning point where it goes from one direction and then back up, so basically the bottom of that U shape is the turning point. Now to find the x value of that turning point, we can just take both the x values, add them up and divide them by 2 because the quadratic will be symmetrical. So if we take those two x values and then divide them by 2, we will find that midpoint x value. So in this case it's going to be minus 2 minus 4 divided by 2, which is going to give us x is equal to minus 3. Now we have the x value of the turning point, and if we want the y value of the turning point, we sub this minus 3 into the original formula. So y is going to be equal to minus 3 squared plus 6 times minus 3 plus 8, and this eventually gives us y is equal to minus 1. So we have the turning point of minus 3 minus 1, and that's the corresponding x and y coordinate. Now this might all make a bit more sense once we visualize it. So we have our x-axis crossing points and we have our turning point, and I'm going to plot them on the graph. Now you may notice that I've also plotted an 8. So when x is equal to 0, that's going to be the y-axis value. So if you look at y is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 8, when x is equal to 0, is going to be y is equal to 0 squared plus 6 times 0, which is 0, and y is going to be equal to 8. So that's our y value crossing. So now we've got all these points and we know it's going to be in a U shape. We just draw in our graph and you can see it's here. Now I have done this terribly, but I will prop up a better version of it to show you what it's meant to look like. But as you can see, we've got the minus 4 and minus 2, so that's the x crossing points. And then we've got the turning point at minus 3 minus 1, and then it crosses the y axis at 8. I appreciate there were a few points in this video, so if you do have any comments or questions, just drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. I'm happy to give a bit more information. And yeah, I hope it helped. Best luck with your maths and thanks for watching the video.